these men having mistresses. We don't know. But at the end of the day, these are exceptionally attractive men who are wealthy and high status who were divorced by their partners. So, I mean, I don't know.
But they were also married to very beautiful, exceptional women.
Sure. And look, I don't know if we should, a lot of these men are in Hollywood and athletes. I don't know if we should be looking to Hollywood and athletes as
Hollywood pushes
romantic
sexual
role models.
Degeneracy, so they're definitely not.
But I guess let me ask a question, and why I am averse to marriage. My experience has been when it comes to relationships, and I've heard this from other men, is that in my relationship experience, women tend to overwhelmingly initiate breakups.
That's true.
And women overwhelmingly initiate divorce. So, like, a lot of men are looking at what's going on, and we hear the stories from other men of, oh, I got took to the cleaners, 20 years of alimony. I'm going to be paying this woman who is probably capable of working. I'm going to be paying her for 20 years. And if you've been married long enough, you could potentially be on the hook to pay for her lifestyle the rest of her life, when she may very well be capable of working, and even when she, I don't know what the rules are if they remarry, but I mean, I can ask the table a question. Of all and this is a question for the whole table, I'm about to open it up to, of all the relationships that you've been in, let's not even say relationships, of all the times that you've had to say, I don't want to, okay, sorry, I'm losing my train of thought. Of all the times when you've been seeing somebody where, hold on guys, sorry, I'm getting distracted here. Of all the times where you've been seeing somebody and someone in the party says, I no longer want to see you, whether that's the guy or the girl, more often than not, is it you as the woman who's saying you want things to end, or is it the guy saying that?
The guy.
For you, the guy? Okay, fair enough. What about for you, Farha?
Me.
Okay, what about for you?
I would say the guy.
More often the guy pumping the brakes and saying, I don't want to see you anymore. And just a point of clarification, that could be you've been on 3 dates with the person, you've been in a 2-year relationship with the person. More often than not, is it you saying, I don't want to see you anymore, or is it him? Go ahead.
It's me.
It's you?
It's usually the guy.
Okay, what about you?
If you're verbally saying that, then me. If
Well,
you're saying just ghosting, then it's the guy.
There's more than one way to ask for something, but go ahead.
I don't know. I haven't dated in so long.
Okay,
I
fair
don't
enough.
even remember.
I don't know if I have the answer to that, because the way that I think of relationships and how they should be working is that you need to discuss with the opposite person is what they have been through and what their expectations are for a man. Because the biggest issue in today's society is that our parents have one of the highest divorce rates, and it's plummeting, and it's affecting all of us. So when you don't have a stable marriage, your parents aren't stably married, you have no one to look up to how does your father treat your mother? You have no one to look up to. So when women go out and they meet men, they don't know what to look for. And vice versa with men seeking women. They don't know what to look for, and that's what is enabling all this confusion, is that all these people don't understand what a true relationship is because they don't have that example.
But okay, so you've had a couple relationships, correct?
Sure, yeah. One official relationship.
Did you end it, or did the guy end it?
The guy ended my relationship, but usually my relationships, the one that I've been in, it's back and forth. It just gets really toxic till it has to end. If that makes sense.
Red flag, but
But here's what I'm saying though. It's because I had nothing to look after in what I need to see and what I need to have in a man. Because I didn't have that thing to look up to. So when you don't have a strong family figure, you don't have a strong parent figure, it's a man and a woman, your mom and your dad, having a relationship. It's difficult for a woman to go out there and understand what a guy is here to offer and what they truly are willing to give you. So you have a girl who's vulnerable because she doesn't know what she's looking for, and then you have a guy who may be persuading you to be a certain way or giving you the certain thing and you don't quite understand. Like, one example I can give for like the disconnect is my boyfriend, when Christmas time came around, I didn't understand what gifts to give because that wasn't something that was like within my family. So when I would give a certain gift, he would be like kind of confused, but I don't know how to give gifts. It's like there's no verbal communication as to what women's expectations are and what men's expectations are for women.
Is that, and you're saying because of your family experience?
Yeah.
You said you said your parents got divorced?
Yes.
At
In
what
middle
age?
school.
In middle school?
Yes.
Okay. Was it a contentious divorce?
It was messy.
It was messy.
It was messy.
Okay.
But what I'm saying is that women and men don't really have, like, since the divorce rate is so high, there's nothing to look after. And it's just plummeting, and all of these men and women are just butting heads because no one knows what to look for. Because no one's communicating, what did you go through? What did you experience with your parents? And how can we establish a firm relationship? And that's why things are failing. And And then what you're saying is that you feel as though you can't be in a relationship or in a marriage because of these people. You're limiting yourself. Like, what you're saying is you're limiting what you can do and what you can be in a relationship because of what you've heard from other people.
I mean, if you really want to propose to me, you can.
No.
But
I do not.
Oh, rejected. Okay.
Now it's even,
Yes, right.
I
Yeah.
mean,
Mic drop.
It's true
talk?
though. Like, if girls don't have like a positive male role model in their life, they're more likely to fall for like psychopathic guys, for instance, because they're going to fill that void and like show a fake veneer of like confidence and maturity. And if you don't have a positive father figure in your life because of divorce or like father absence, you're not going to see the difference between like good masculinity and toxic masculinity.
Right.
sure.
Well,
Well,
there's different like attachment styles. Like, I did communications in college, and like based on what your parents or whatever like figures you looked up to
Into
when
the
you were
mic.
growing up. Sorry. Whatever figures you looked up to when you were growing up, like, you're gonna have a certain type of attachment style. Like, there's like the quote unquote normal one if you had like perfect parents that you're supposed to have, like, just ideally, and there's like avoidant, there's there's a bunch of them. And if you're not like actively aware of that, then your relationships are going to fail because you're going to be with someone that probably has a different one than you, and they're going to not align, and you're going to have issues and not really know why.
Word. Okay, but so just and
Just
Orion,
going off of what you
I know you want to come in. Let me just adjust a couple things, and I'll have you come in. So I mean, you were kind of pushing back about my take on marriage, and because I'm against marriage.
Right.
Okay. I mean, yes, I suppose. What was the last thing you said? That I'm looking to these other examples, but that's not fair because
It's
I'm
just
not giving it a
limiting.
chance.
You're just limiting it. Like, when you have those thoughts in your head and you think about the way that other people have been affected and you put that in your head, it's destined to become your reality because that's what you're thinking.
Well, I don't necessarily think that it's destined to be my reality.
If you're putting it out there, absolutely it will, because you're saying you
Well,
won't get married.
sure,
because
all
of
the more
X.
reason to not get married then. But
I think if you are fear-based, you're going to not be successful in your pursuit
It's not
for a
about-
romantic
well,
relationship.
it's not about
because you're
fear.
listing out the celebrities and you're afraid that something like that
But
could
you
It
happen.
are
has nothing to
getting
do with
but
fear. It has nothing to do with fear.
underlyingly, It is fear.
But
Oh,
that's
it's not
okay because like all
fear.
of us deal with
Then
fear.
why won't you
It's
get
not
married?
fear.
Why wouldn't
It's
you
not
take the
fear.
risk to get
Well,
married?
I'll tell you why. Because I mean, if I choose to not sign a contract which I deem to be, if that contract puts me at a disadvantage, or it's an unfair contract, or the contract is ludicrous, then it's not a fear. It's just me being.
So marriage
it's
is
me.
ludicrous, like signing the paper.
Well,
of
that-
marriage
hold
is
on.
ludicrous.
You don't
It's
have
just
to do the
me being
government papers.
pragmatic.
You don't have to. I don't believe that you have to do it through the government or the state.
Right. Well,
Or get a prenup.
You can make your own.
Yeah, that doesn't
You
dismiss
can make your own
marriage as a
contract between
whole.
you and your fiance and sign it together. Like, marriage isn't dependent. It doesn't require the state to make it official.
Well, there's a few things. So some states, there's something called common law marriage. Luckily, I believe, my understanding is California is not a common law marriage state. But if you cohabitate with someone and you treat them as if you're married, basically, if you cohabitate for a certain period of time, the government, the state, will view you as if you were married. So if in the event of a breakup, your girlfriend, even though you weren't technically married, can say, we were married, and then she's going to come after you for alimony and
I'm going to
spousal
say
support.
something controversial, but I'm going to put it on the table so people can think about it. But listen, biblically speaking, okay, and even not even just biblically, like society speaking, humanity speaking, most of societies, even in ancient times, marriage was created through consensual sex. Now hear me out.
Okay, but hold on. Where are you going with this? Because sex does not create marriage in today's day and age. We can talk about Greece and Romans and shit, but just
imagine if it did. Imagine, okay, we're talking about the ideal here. Listen, if people understood that if they had sex with somebody that made them a husband or wife, then they wouldn't be sleeping around. Then you wouldn't have to be worried about, not just you, but men in general, don't have to be worried about women's body counts and their lack of ability to pair bond. We wouldn't have to be worried about divorce rates going up every time the body count goes up and higher. People would understand that if a man had sex with a woman, that woman is now his wife, and he is responsible to protect, lead, and provide for her. And if they had a child because they had sex, he can't just run away or tell her to have an abortion, because he is now the husband. He's responsible for that unborn child. And he can't just leave the woman after she just gave him her body and her womb. And so he's responsible for her. And we were talking about the ideal. We're obviously like 60 years past this sexual revolution here, so we're very screwed up. But even in the 50s, people understood this. That's why there was a thing called shotgun weddings, where the father, if he found out that you had sex with his daughter, you had to go marry her now. We're 60 years past the sexual revolution, but if we understood that if a woman had sex with a man and gave him her virginity, that meant that she was now his wife. There's no sleeping with some other man.